Amelia's heels clicked against the pavement as she rushed toward the line of taxis, the city's evening chill nipping at her skin. It had been one of those days, endless meetings, tense phone calls, and colleagues who couldn't make a decision if their lives depended on it. All she wanted now was to sink into her hotel bed and forget the world existed. Where to? The taxi driver's voice snapped her from her thoughts. It was smooth, rich, with a hint of amusement that made her glance up despite her exhaustion. Grandview Hotel, please, she replied, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. As the taxi pulled away from the curb, Amelia couldn't help but study the man behind the wheel. He was handsome in that rugged, effortlessly charming way. Dark hair swept back casually, eyes that gleamed under the streetlights, and a jawline framed by just the right amount of stubble. He caught her looking and smiled, a dimple appearing on his left cheek. "Long day?" he asked, his gaze flicking to her in the mirror. "You have no idea," she replied, her shoulders sagging. "I'm half convinced my boss's mission is to drive me insane." He chuckled, a deep, genuine sound that eased some of the tension knotting her muscles. "I think I've had a few passengers today who could give your boss a run for his money. But, hey, at least you survived." "Barely," Amelia shot back with a smile, surprised at how easy it was to talk to him. The conversation flowed naturally, an exchange of complaints and jokes that felt refreshingly genuine. "I'm Ethan, by the way," he said when the laughter faded, glancing at her over his shoulder. "Amelia." "Nice to meet you, Amelia. And for the record, you don't look like someone who lets a bad day win." His compliment caught her off guard. "Well, I try," she admitted. "But today was brutal." "Then maybe you deserve a little something to make up for it," Ethan said, his eyes twinkling. "Like, a good conversation to distract you on the ride home." "I think you're already succeeding at that," she replied, her voice softer than intended. The rest of the ride felt impossibly short, their conversation drifting from her work stress to his experiences as a taxi driver and his dreams of opening a travel agency someday. The way he spoke, with such passion and determination, left her feeling unexpectedly captivated. Before she knew it, they had arrived at the hotel. But even as the taxi idled by the curb, Amelia found herself hesitating to leave. "Would it be crazy if I asked you to join me for a coffee sometime?" she blurted out, feeling bold and foolish all at once. Ethan's smile widened, his gaze steady. "Why not make it dinner? And how about tonight?" A thrill rushed through her, leaving her momentarily speechless. "Yes, tonight." As she stepped out of the taxi, her heart pounded with anticipation. She hadn't planned on meeting anyone tonight, let alone someone like Ethan. But something about him felt right, and for once, she was ready to take a chance. Amelia stood outside the little Italian restaurant Ethan had suggested, her nerves flickering like candlelight. She couldn't remember the last time she'd agreed to a spontaneous dinner date with a stranger. But then again, Ethan didn't feel like a stranger. Not really. The moment he stepped out of his taxi, dressed in a simple black shirt and jeans that somehow made him look effortlessly irresistible, her doubts scattered like leaves in the wind. His grin was just as charming as she remembered. "Hey, you made it," he said, his voice carrying that same playful warmth. "Wouldn't miss it," Amelia replied, her smile genuine. "Though I have to admit, this is a little out of character for me." "Then I'm flattered," Ethan chuckled. "Come on, let's get inside before the city swallows us whole." The restaurant's cozy atmosphere wrapped around them like a blanket. Soft music played in the background, the scent of garlic and fresh herbs mingling deliciously in the air. They found a corner table, their conversation picking up where it had left off in the taxi. Ethan was a natural storyteller, weaving tales of late-night passengers and roadside discoveries with an enthusiasm that made Amelia's laughter come easily. Yet, beneath his humor, she sensed something deeper, a restlessness, a desire to do something more. "So, a travel agency, huh?" Amelia asked, her curiosity piqued. "What's the plan?" "Someday, I want to help people experience the world like I have," Ethan said, his gaze turning serious. "Not just the touristy stuff, but real places, real connections. Problem is, it's expensive to start something like that. So, I drive a taxi, save every cent, and hope it'll be worth it." The passion in his voice was captivating. Ethan wasn't just charming, he was driven, determined. And the way his eyes softened whenever he looked at her made her feel like she was the most interesting person in the world. "Sounds like you're a dreamer," Amelia remarked, her tone light but her words genuine. "Maybe," Ethan admitted, leaning back with a grin. "But I'm guessing you are, too. You've got that same look, like you're searching for something more than the 9-to-5 grind." His words struck a nerve. How could he see through her so easily? "Maybe I am," she whispered. "Maybe that's why I'm sitting here with you instead of hiding in my hotel room with room service and bad TV." "Well, I'm glad you took the chance," Ethan replied, his fingers lightly brushing hers on the table. "Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since you got in my taxi." Amelia's breath caught, the air between them thickening with unspoken possibilities. "I haven't been able to stop thinking about you either," she confessed, her voice almost a tremor. Ethan's hand slid over hers, his touch gentle yet sure. "Then let's see where this night takes us." Ethan's apartment was everything Amelia expected and nothing like she imagined. It was small but cozy, with travel photographs adorning the walls, sweeping landscapes, bustling cityscapes, serene beaches kissed by golden sunsets. The place felt lived in, personal, a reflection of the man who welcomed her inside with an easy smile. "So, you're not just a taxi driver with big dreams," Amelia teased, her eyes tracing a breathtaking shot of a snow-dusted mountain range. "You're an artist, too." Ethan chuckled, shutting the door behind her. "Just a guy with a camera and a restless heart. Photography's my way of capturing the world until I can actually show it to people." "There's passion in that," Amelia said softly. "It's inspiring." Her words seemed to catch him off guard. For a moment, their eyes locked, the playful banter replaced by something deeper, something that pulsed between them like an unspoken invitation. Ethan took a step closer, his gaze never leaving hers. "I haven't felt this way about someone in a long time," he admitted, his voice low and genuine. "Maybe ever." "Me neither," Amelia whispered, her own honesty surprising her. "I'm not even sure why I'm here. But I want to be." Ethan's hand found hers, his touch gentle, reassuring. "I'm glad you are." Their lips met, the kiss slow at first, testing, searching, then deepening as if they were both desperate to close the distance between them. His arms wrapped around her, pulling her against him with a tenderness that left her breathless. They moved through the apartment like two people caught in a beautiful, inevitable dance. The air was thick with the scent of him, fresh, masculine, comforting. His touch was both soft and demanding, his kisses leaving her dazed and hungry for more. Hours slipped away in a blur of laughter, whispered words, and heated kisses. It was as if they'd found a world outside of time, a place where nothing mattered but each other. Amelia couldn't remember the last time she'd felt so alive, so wanted. Eventually, they lay tangled together on the couch, Ethan's fingers lazily tracing patterns along her arm. His eyes held hers with a warmth that felt achingly real. "Why does this feel so right?" Amelia asked, her voice barely more than a breath. "Because maybe it is," Ethan replied, his smile tender and unguarded. "Maybe we're just two people who were supposed to meet." The simplicity of his words wrapped around her like a promise. And in that moment, Amelia allowed herself to believe it. Sunlight spilled through the half-drawn curtains, painting the room in hues of amber and gold. Amelia stirred awake, her cheek pressed against Ethan's chest, the steady rhythm of his heartbeat soothing. For a moment, she simply lay there, absorbing the warmth of his embrace, her mind blissfully blank. But as consciousness crept in, so did the questions. What had she done? She barely knew this man. And yet, lying there wrapped in his arms, everything felt achingly perfect. Morning. Ethan's groggy voice rumbled beneath her ear, his fingers gently threading through her hair. His smile was lazy and genuine, as if waking up beside her was the most natural thing in the world. "Morning," Amelia replied, her own smile breaking through her anxiety. "I hope I didn't snore." He chuckled. "If you did, I slept right through it. Guess I must have been exhausted from trying to impress you all night." "Well, mission accomplished." The words slipped out before she could stop them, her cheeks flushing at the admission. Ethan's grin widened, his gaze softening. You know, I meant what I said last night. This feels different, real. Amelia searched his eyes, looking for signs of insincerity but finding none. Only honesty, plain and disarming. I feel it, too, she admitted. But it's also sudden. Like I stepped into someone else's life for a night and forgot who I was supposed to be. Maybe that's a good thing, Ethan replied. Maybe who you're supposed to be is someone who takes chances. Someone who doesn't let bad days and busy schedules decide what makes her happy. His words struck her like a gentle blow. How could he see her so clearly? It was terrifying and thrilling all at once. I don't even know if this makes sense, Amelia confessed, her voice trembling slightly. But I want to find out. Then let's find out together, Ethan said softly. I'm not asking for forever, Amelia. Just more time. To see if what we're feeling is something worth holding on to. The simplicity of his offer melted her remaining doubts. What was life if not a series of leaps, of choosing to believe in something even when logic told you not to? I'd like that, Amelia whispered, her fingers lacing through his. They spent the rest of the morning talking over coffee in his tiny kitchen, their conversation flowing effortlessly between shared stories and dreams of what could be. The vulnerability between them felt like a bridge built on fragile hope, but one they were both willing to cross. As Amelia prepared to leave, Ethan walked her to the door, his expression both nervous and earnest. So, dinner tonight? Or are you going to leave me wondering if I imagined all of this? Amelia laughed, her heart fluttering with anticipation. Dinner sounds perfect. His smile was pure relief, his dimple making her chest tighten. Good. Because I'm not ready for this to end. Neither am I, she replied, pressing one last kiss to his lips before stepping out into the world. Maybe, just maybe, this unexpected connection was exactly what she needed.